So this is something I've kind of touched on before, so I'm going to try to keep this short, but I'm going to give a brief watch order of every DC animated movie. I've touched on what's connected and kind of fucked up in that video, so I'll kind of correct that too. So a lot of the one-off movies are still the same. I kind of messed up in the last video. I touched on some that are actually kind of connected. They're not like super connected like the DC AMU movies are, but they're still connected. I've counted those as one-off movies when they're actually not. They're connected to another film. It doesn't really matter what order you watch these in, and I'm not going to bother naming all of them because they're on screen right now. I believe the only one here that is slightly or claimed to be connected to something else is Batman Gotham Knight. It's supposed to be part of the Dark Knight trilogy between The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, or between Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, something like that. It's not connected to the Dark Knight trilogy. I don't know why they promoted it that way, but anyway, let's go ahead and get into the movies that are slightly connected or are connected. There's only two of each of these. Of course, the Dark Knight Returns movies are connected. Part 1 and Part 2, that's the obvious one. Then, of course, you got Batman Return of the Caped Crusaders and Batman vs. Two-Face. Justice League Crisis on Two Earths and Justice League Doom are kind of connected, even though the voice cast is completely different and the animation style is slightly different. And of course, the Superman/Batman movies are connected, Public Enemies and Apocalypse. Now let's go ahead and get into the movies that are connected to TV shows. This isn't including the DCAU, that's its own thing that I'll touch on at the end. The Batman vs. Dracula is obviously connected to the Batman TV show that ran from 2004 to 2008. You don't really need to watch the show in order to enjoy the movie. The movie isn't really connected to the show in any way. Same thing with Teen Titans Trouble in Tokyo, really. I think the show is much better than the movie actually is, so I just watched the show and not the movie, but it is connected to the show, even though it doesn't really tie into any of the show's plot lines. Then Scooby-Doo and Batman the Brave and the Bold, obviously connected to Batman the Brave and the Bold. There's actually a Scooby-Doo episode of Batman the Brave and the Bold where they have a Scooby-Doo bit, so I'd at least check that episode out just before I watch the movie to kind of see what you're in for. And also, with this movie being pretty mystery-based, a lot of detective work, it kind of helps to watch at least some of the show just so some of the villains in the show are fleshed out for you. And also, this show's version of some of the heroes are also fledged out for you just so you kind of know the tone you're getting in. Batman Assault on Arkham, it is connected to the Arkham games, probably mostly Arkham Origins if you had to pick one of the Arkham games that it's specifically connected to. I believe it's actually set between Arkham Origins and Arkham Asylum, and the Lego Batman movie is of course connected to the Lego movie. I think you can watch all of these movies on their own though. It doesn't really elevate it too much if you watch the shows or play the games or watch the Lego movie before the Lego Batman movie. Now let's get into the DC animated movie universe films. So obviously this starts with Justice League The Flashpoint Paradox and ends with Justice League Dark Apokolips War. You can pretty much watch these in release date order, but I made one slight change for viewing order. I put Judas Contract before Justice League Dark, and Justice League Dark was released before Teen Titans The Judas Contract, but I think Judas Contract can be elevated slightly if you watch it directly after Justice League vs. Teen Titans, because of course that movie at the end sets up Judas Contract. Also, some people consider Constantine City of Demons part of this universe and some people don't. I think it can really go either way. There's nothing in the movie that really specifically connects it to this universe or says it's not a part of this universe, but I consider it part of this universe because it's the same animation style and it just develops Constantine's character more, so you can really watch this at any point, as long as it's before Justice League Dark Apokolips War, obviously. Now getting into perhaps the most simple, perhaps the most complex of these movies to watch, the DCAU movies. There's only 6, so if you just want to watch the movie, it's really simple. Just watch them in release date order, starting with Phantasm, ending with Justice League vs. the Fatal 5. If you want to get more out of the movies, then I would recommend watching some of the DCAU shows. Phantasm, just watch some Joker episodes of Batman the Animated Series and Joker will be more fleshed out as character. He'll mean more to you maybe. Sub-Zero, you only need to watch Heart of Ice and Deep Freeze. It's part of the Freeze saga. Sub-Zero is the 3rd installment in the Freeze saga, so those are the only 2 episodes that take place before Sub-Zero do. Batman Beyond Return of the Joker is honestly the only one of these movies that I think is elevated from watching the shows. If you watch Batman the Animated Series, the New Batman Adventures in its entirety, and most of Batman Beyond, at least the first 2 seasons before watching the film, I think the film is elevated from that just so you can see everything the Joker had done to Batman at this point. Everything he's put him through, Terry's more developed as a character, so you'll care more about him as Batman. And the new Batman Adventures is actually a pretty important plot line. The whole show, everything that happened, nothing specific, but just watching the new Batman Adventures will elevate the flashback scene in this movie for you. I won't spoil it for anyone that hasn't seen it because this movie is phenomenal. Mystery of the Batwoman, you really just have to see B-Taz and the new Batman Adventures. You don't even need to see every single episode or anything. Same thing with Batman and Harley Quinn. Just kind of watch some of the Harley Quinn episodes of Batman the Anime series and you're good. Justice League vs. Fatal 5, obviously Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, but as I said, if you just want to watch the movies, you can just watch them in release date order. I honestly think Batman Beyond Return of the Joker is the only one elevated from watching a lot of the shows, or the majority of B-Taz, the new Batman Adventures, and Batman Beyond at least. And I do think Sub-Zero is better if you watch at least Heart of Ice before watching the movie. So yeah, I think I've at least touched on all the mainstream stuff. I didn't touch on the Batman Unlimited films. Those were connected, but they aren't mainstream and they're meant for kids, so I haven't seen them. Can't really speak to that too much. I just know they're connected. Didn't touch on Superman Brainiac Attacks. That is connected to nothing, even though it has the DCAU animation style. It's not connected to the DCAU. It's its own standalone thing. So hopefully I at least touched on everything major and explained it good enough. Hopefully you have a better idea of what order to watch these in if you were wondering. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time.
I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky.